Once the NBA draft concludes on Wednesday, we are going to break down whoever they pick or whether they trade out of the pick. Maybe it's multiple picks, but the conversation will quickly turn to which one of these guys will be traded, which is how we just ended that conversation or our last segment. There's going to be everyone is on the trade block outside of Jalen Johnson. It could be Trae Young. He's probably the second guy that you would assume isn't going to be traded, but he's very much going to be dangled out there to see what they can get. Dejounte Murray, obviously one of them we expect to go. Clint Capela, he's been linked to the Lakers. Dejounte Murray, the two ones that I think make a lot of sense, and we've heard a ton of this offseason, are Dejounte Murray and the Los Angeles Lakers. Clint Capela, he's several teams. But then there's also the whole Pelicans idea and Trae Young and Dejounte Murray potentially being a fit in New Orleans in return for Brandon Ingram. Do either of these potential deals that have been floated out there by a number of guys kind of interest you?
I like the idea of a Dejounte Murray Lakers deal because, I'd prefer Brandon Ingram in a vacuum over Austin Reeves. You would be a moron to say otherwise. But let's get back to earth. Let's get back to reality, and circumstances matter. Contracts matter. The Hawks being cheap matters. Like Austin Reeves is under contract for a bargain is what it is. And if you can get a couple of first round picks, even if they're in the future, it doesn't matter. 2029, who cares? The Lakers probably suck by then. All these guys will be gone. You get Austin Reeves and a couple of first round picks and, Rui Hachimura. I don't know. I like that a lot. But the fact of the matter is the Lakers from, I'm going to butcher his name, Sam Vecini, whatever the Athletics NBA insider, Sam Vecini or whatever his name is. He's saying the Lakers do not want to trade Austin Reeves to the Hawks and a Dejounte Murray trio. The deal would have come to fruition, he is saying, at the trade deadline in February had the Lakers been okay with parting ways with Austin Reeves, but they don't want to. The fact is that Brandon Ingram is going to be paid a max contract by somebody, and I surely hope it's not the Atlanta Hawks. He's a 25-5 guy. There's absolutely a role for him at every single team in the NBA. I just hope it's not the Atlanta Hawks. I do not want to be paying Brandon Ingram and Trae Young max contracts with Jalen Johnson's contract extension looming. We know that this team and this ownership, the wrestlers, will do literally whatever they can not to pay the luxury tax. So you're going to be paying Brandon Ingram, and Jalen Johnson 60-70% of your salary cap, and the rest is just going to be, you're going to be paying, minimum vets, and that's just not a recipe for success long term in my eyes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Just the building of NBA teams has gotten a lot different over the last years because they've allowed certain players max contracts to get so large. So you can't have like 3 max contracts really on the books, or at least max contracts. I mean, what does Scotty Barnes just get? $270 million. I mean, look at what Jaylen Brown got, 360. Like Luka Doncic might get 400 million. Like, and they're talking about it going up. Like we're talking about $90 million.
We're talking about LeBron James getting 3 years, $160 million.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, for 50. It's getting ridiculous. So the way that teams have to build franchises has gotten a lot different.
Insane.
So it's hard for
unless you're okay paying the luxury tax.
Yeah. Well, it's hard for me to see the future. I wonder if the Hawks, if they like actually are good. Like, I think a big issue with them not being willing to pay the luxury tax is knowing that, whoever they were going to go get was not going to make them real championship contenders. Now, we don't know that, right? I wonder if they would actually be willing to change that if we showed signs of being contenders in the Eastern Conference. I mean, God, I literally hope so, right? I mean, Jesus, why are we doing this? Why are we sitting here? There's nothing worse than a bad owner, right? Because you can fire the GM, you can fire the coach. You can't fire the owner. Like, the owner is just going to make the decisions that he wants to make, whether he wants to be involved in basketball decisions, whether he wants to prevent from spending money, like his agenda, you don't really know. So you can't get away from a bad owner. That's the worst thing in sports. There's no doubt about it. And to this point, all we know out of the Coonans and the wrestlers is bad ownership.
Yeah. And, I don't know. I'm kind of split on it because obviously if I was a business owner, I would kind of want to maybe see it before I invest, the signs of like competing to kind of encourage me that my money is going to be used wisely. But also as a fan, you have an obligation to this city, to the fans, to the franchise, to the players that have come before, the players that will come after, to Trae Young, to give them the benefit of the doubt. You hired Landry Fields, Tony Ressler. You did. If you didn't believe in him, then you shouldn't have hired him. And if you believe in him, give him a little money, give him some wiggle room, because right now there's not much wiggle room with the salary cap. Like, the Hawks are right there. They're at the threshold. I don't know the details about the aprons and whatnot. It's quite confusing, but we're right there. So there's not much wiggle room. And obviously we're going to extend Jalen Johnson. Moving one of Trae Young and Dejounte Murray is going to help a little bit, as well as Clint Capela and or DeAndre Hunter. I just hope that, you're the owner and you hire these guys, give them the benefit of the doubt. If they need to go a little bit into the luxury tax to at least experiment and be like, this is what it could look like, then I think you do it. I mean, I don't know. You got to spend money to make money. Scare money don't make money. And if you're the Atlanta Hawks, aren't you tired of answering these same questions about being on the hamster wheel, like you like to say, and dodging the luxury tax? Like, doesn't that matter to you? Like, we have a terrible rap in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I've never understood owners in any sports. I mean, you're making
generally
money.
You get it back.
You're making money hand over fist, and I mean, you go look at the best, like some of the richest organizations. Like Golden State was never one of the richest most valuable organizations in sports. They go and win 4 championships and have all that. Now they have all this aura about them. Now you could get $4 billion. You 4x your investment right there, just because you spent all the money you possibly could, built a contender, and literally, like, it doesn't have to be the Hawks turn into Golden State. It's very rare that teams end up doing that, but still, like, having just a good organization that people are proud of, and that, building, like, you're going to make money. You're going to make money hand over fist. And if you invest into your product, you're going to make more money. That's the case in literally every single sports. I mean, look at the Atlanta Braves. I mean, you could sell that team for $2.5 billion right now because of what they've built. And listen, it's not like they're winning championships hand over fist, but they're competitive every single season. People come watch them play. Everybody knows about the Atlanta Braves as the team of the South, and they pack out Truist Park every day because they put, like, they've proven it. They've proven it. They have a proven track record. You do that in Atlanta with the Hawks. I mean, even right now, attendance is pretty damn good. Is pretty damn good. If you build a winner in Atlanta in basketball, people will come. People love basketball. You're in Atlanta.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I want to go back to the trade idea. Lakers without Austin Reeves. So you're looking at Rui Hachimura, 2027, I think, first round pick, and a 2029 first round pick, I believe. As well as I'm blanking on Gabe Vincent, and you probably go Clint Capela and Dejounte Murray, or Brandon Ingram for Dejounte Murray. I think that could be a fair swap. I mean, I don't know what the contracts exactly are. You might have to include a little bit more, but, like, am I crazy of thinking a Brandon Ingram Dejounte Murray swap could also work?
No, I mean, I don't mind the Brandon.
Like, what do the Pels say? What do the Pels say?
I think
you're getting Dejounte Murray on a sweetheart of a deal.
I think that's a fantastic deal for the.
Honestly, I hate that for us.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic deal for the Pels. I don't mind it for the Hawks because the Hawks need to switch things up.
They do.
They get kind of like a 1-year trial run with Brandon Ingram, and then they basically have control over him. Like, if they want to sign him to a contract, they can. It's almost kind of like Pascal Siakam we just saw with the Indiana Pacers, which the Hawks were heavily involved in. And, if it doesn't work, you blow it up, you retool, do whatever you have to do. Maybe you trade Trae Young, and it is what it is. But the Hawks, we know they need to shake something up. And this at least gives you the potential to maybe be good, be legitimate if it works out. Because listen, we've seen Trae Young lead a team to a championship, and he did it without any star players. Brandon Ingram would probably be the second best player.
We didn't have anything close to a star player.
Didn't have anything close to a Brandon Ingram, right?
Nothing.
And you have to say the fit is exponentially better with Brandon Ingram. So, you see it, you try it out, and if you like it, you go, you keep doing it. If not, you really focus on that number 1 pick, whoever you take, and Jalen Johnson, and you probably are talking about trading Trae Young, but at the end of the day, you might be talking about that anyway.
At least you tried. I agree with you in that sense, but also a lot of this, it needs to be, like, one string is attached to another. And the first string is the number 1 overall pick. So if you get a guy like Zachary Rizachet, and then you draft somebody, and then you trade Dejounte Murray for somebody like Brandon Ingram, Obviously, Brandon Ingram has developed. He's going to be a much better player than Zachary Richer, but they're not dissimilar players. Now you kind of have a logjam for that 2 to the 4 spot, and you're going to have to move somebody like DeAndre Hunter, which, we know is certainly a possibility. But if you're asking me, I'm not trying to get rid of DeAndre Hunter. He is a winning player. I know he hasn't lived up to the number 4 overall pick, but he's earning his money. He's coming off a career year. He's very good defensively, and the Hawks don't need to be getting better offensively. That shouldn't be the goal this year. Like, Trae Young is an offensive engine alone. We need to get better defensively, and Brandon Ingram is, for being 6'9", he's not great defensively. I mean, he's kind of bad.
But I think all those things, you just kind of, I think DeAndre Hunter's gone if you go out there and get Brandon Ingram. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It obviously depends what you feel about Richer in year one, but I think for sure DeAndre would be gone. But listen, a shakeup's coming. A lot of these guys are going to be gone, and it's inevitable. Like, it's just the way that it's going to happen. Coming up after the break, we're going to get into some more AFC win totals, the ones that we didn't cover yesterday.